Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special Evil Dead video. I got the privilege of being able to speak with some of the creative minds behind Evil Dead the game, Tim Willits, Craig Sherman, and Jason O'Connell. I got to ask them questions. A lot of them are some of the questions that you guys have been wanting to know the answers to. So without another second wasted, we're going to jump right into this. All right, so first question, will the game have single-player bots? Is a question that's been circulating around Reddit a lot. When you're playing the normal 1v4, outside of the single-player missions, will there be bots like your Kandarian demon, like you're playing the Kandarian demon, and then, then there's just bots kind of running around?
Yes. So in Evil Dead the game, we give players many ways to play. So if you cannot find 4 of your friends, you can play by yourself. The different options are you can play the core experience completely by yourself as a survivor with survivor AI controlled bots, for lack of a better word, and then against an AI controlled demon. Or if you if you just have like you and your friends just want to kick dead-eyed ass together and you don't want to get on the internet and get beat by a 12-year-old playing the demon, you can totally just play as survivors against a computer-controlled demon. Lastly, if you're kind of like me and sometimes you just want to play by yourself and the main game may be too intense for you, you can play one of these kind of side missions that we have. Now, it's not a single-player campaign. It's not story mode. But we have separate solo missions where you can dive deeper into the lore, into the experience. You can, practice your skills, and by completing those, you can unlock different characters and skins. So we really want to give players an opportunity to do more than just always have 5 people to play with. And we do think that is one thing that will help separate this game from the other asymmetrical horror type games. Also, speaking of clearing things up on Reddit, I'll just say this right now. You do need to be connected to the internet to play solo, because all of the parameters for everything from health to stat tracking to damage is all on our backend. So I'll just get that out right now. Just make sure you're connected to the internet when you're playing.
Very awesome. And will there be a ranked mode ever for this game, when players start to get really good and as the future of the game kind of unwinds, how will that go to balance things out?
That is a good question. Honestly, we haven't talked about ranked mode internally, but we do have a kind of a very straightforward ELO type matchmaking system. So if you're a pretty high ranked player, you can play against people with similar rank. It's really to help matchmaking. But one of the things that I really think we did a good job at is even if you get into a match where you may be outskilled by your teammates, there's always something for you to do and to have fun. I won't mention any names, but it may be someone on this interview with us. Sometimes always has a fun time, right, Craig?
I listen. I always have a blast, and I'll admit it. My skills are not up to where Tim and Jason's and probably anybody else at Saber's are. But I always have fun. I found my characters that work for me and that I can contribute with, and
Yes, Jason.
Yeah, it'll work.
Jason is our resident evil demon player, and he always likes when Craig plays because Craig makes noise first. Yes.
Oh yeah. Craig is the noisiest player I think in our group, so it makes it very easy to find where the survivors are.
So that kind of goes into the second question, is that's involving noise and stealth. Like if someone runs off solo, will it be possible to survive even though their possibility of death is a lot greater?
Jason, Mr. Demon? Yes, no,
yeah,
that's
sure,
all you, Jason.
No. Yeah, will it be possible to survive if a player goes off? Like if a survivor goes off solo, it would be really hard. They probably could if you were a skilled enough player, but No, it would be because your fear level would be shooting through the roof, and there would be a lot of elements at play that would you would benefit much more in the match to stay close to your group and work together, because if the demon can single you out, you're gonna have a real hard time.
So once I was playing one match, and I was playing against a demon player that was pretty new to it. So I thought I'd John Wayne it, and I went off to try to do an objective by myself. It was a disaster. It led to a series of disasters that we all complete, because I got killed, and then someone had to pick up my soul, and then that person got killed, and it led to this whole domino effect of bad things. So stick with your team.
How are you going to keep players engaged as the life of the game moves forward with the style of combat? Are you going to add deadites or change things as it goes along?
So that's a very good question, and and we have some tools in place to help us assess kind of like the direction of the game. So we have announced a season pass. We will be dropping content in the future. The Evil Dead world is rich, full of characters and demons that we haven't even talked about or touched yet. And there's also locations that are very unique. But like I mentioned earlier, is all of the stats for health and damage and even some objectives are all on the back end. So we can make game changes and adjustments for balancing without pushing out an update. And then what our plan is we're going to look at what players are gravitating towards, like what they want more of. Do they want different game types? Do they want modifications to the current game rules? Do they just want more demons? Do they want more characters? So we're going to lean into what our fans want, but I do believe that we have the framework in place to react quick enough to feed the appetite.
Very cool. The Kandarian demon itself, I noticed that at the finale it has to basically try to destroy the Necronomicon in order to get through the match. Now, what happens if, say, the Kandarian demon just avoids the survivors the whole match, waits till the end, and then just tries to destroy the book? Could they get away with that?
It would be a very poor strategy on the demon's part if that's what they chose to do. As the match goes on, the survivors are getting stronger as they're finding upgrades and building up their characters. And without the interaction with the demon, if the demon stayed by itself, it wouldn't be getting as strong.
Right.
So going into that final phase, if you were just kind of hanging out the whole match, you wouldn't be at the same level. Yeah, you would get your butt kicked. Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want the players to upgrade too much. For instance, there's these crates around the world, and if the demon isn't hounding the survivors, they'll find those upgrade crates, and they'll be beefy by the time they get to that final match, and it'll be all over for the demon. So it's important that the demon engages early and often.
They got to apply that pressure, yeah.
Yes. So one of the things that you talked about is the keeping players in the game, and and Craig can talk to this more, but the way that we kind of set up the Evil Dead universe, I think, is also very interesting. How we're able to pull these different characters and different settings all into this kind of like one unified kind of like setting and vision. Maybe I'll throw it over to Craig to kind of talk about how we can get all these pieces together and make this make sense.
Sure. So for fans who are looking to say, hey, well, how is this fitting into the Evil Dead universe? We have created this in the game. You are rewarded with these things we're calling Nobi recordings for Professor Nobi, and as you've seen in the film and in films and television show, he records himself when he's translating the Necronomicon. So we've added new recordings that aren't in the films or the television show, and they sort of exist within the crevices between scenes. Sometimes they start before a scene, sometimes they continue after a scene, things you're familiar with. And so for people wanting to stay engaged, you're going to be learning more and more about the background of Evil Dead and filling in some spots that you might not have known before. Now, as far as how the game fits into that universe, So take your mind back to Professor Nobi in the cabin. He found the Necronomicon. He's translating it. He's recording himself. He summons the Kandarian demon. His wife gets possessed, and the rest we know. But in our game, he continues to record these tapes. And what he does next is that he's looking in the Necronomicon and he sees the hero from the sky, which is, it's a drawing of Ash with the chainsaw. And so he tries to summon the hero from the sky to help him because he's just summoned a demon. But instead of getting Ash, he's getting all of Ash's friends. He's getting people who have worked alongside Ash, all of his allies. He's accidentally getting these people, and they are being summoned into this world. Eventually, he will get Ash as well, but that is our explanation for how all of these characters from all of these different places have been pulled into one area to play.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. And then the last question, this one might be digging a little bit too much into the future, but in the current finale, you fight the Dark Ones as the finale thing that you got to do in the whole match. Is there any plans for like new finales, like for example, like Evil Dead 2, where he has to fight the Rotten Apple Head? You could put like a face somewhere, but the demon's still doing his normal thing. But then there's that big boss, like a sort of like a boss thing.
So we, not to give anything away, we have talked about those types of things, and we're kind of looking at what it would take, because there are some cool stuff. There's like the pit creature, remember from Army of Darkness,
right?
And then there's some cool bad guys from Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series. So we are lucky enough to have different types of creatures to pull from. So again, we'll just see what people like and what's doable. Maybe we do a whole new game mode. I don't know. Maybe we just do modifications to what we have. But our goal is to stay flexible and robust, and try to steer and with the flow of what people want.
Very cool, very cool. I appreciate that. That was all my questions. I appreciate the time you guys took to answer those. I'm really looking forward to it. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. A huge thank you for Tim, Craig, and Jason for giving me a bit of their time. Only a few days away from Evil Dead the game. You guys remember, if you pre-order, you get some special goodies, S-Mart and the Gallant Knight from Army of Darkness. And I believe the digital deluxe version will get you the season pass. There is an Evil Dead the Game Reddit page. I will link it down in the description below. You can go there to talk with the community as well. May 13th is the release. I'll see you all there. I will continue to be covering Evil Dead the game until next time.